All right, so I wanted to do something different on the topic of gaming and talk through why I quit gaming as a teenager and well into my teen years and 20s. I just stopped gaming altogether. So let's go back in time. 90s kid, right? I gamed heavily from the ages of, let's say, 7 years old to 12 years old. And during that time, it was mostly Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, took up most of my time from the Final Fantasy series, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, and Metal Gear Solid, right? Great era in the 90s, by the way. Really great games. But during those years, like I said, from 7 to, let's say, 12 to 13 years old, I was heavily playing them like every day on PS1. Whenever I got spare time, I would be playing. I was addicted. Okay, I was literally addicted. I would just play as much as I could. I wasn't fit like I am now. Now I'm a personal trainer. I work out. I've done bodybuilding competitions and a lot of things. But back then, I was very overweight, unhealthy, and not in a good way. And it was mostly because I was playing too much video games. Okay, I was addicted, and it was something that was not good. Okay, I quit. Because I went to the doctors. They said, look, your cholesterol's too high and you need to start exercising more. And I just latched onto that. I don't know why. I really latched onto the fitness component. And I started running. I ran once around the corner. Well, I tried to get to the end of the street and I couldn't even make it. I was so unfit. So I got to like halfway down the street and I was gassed out. But then the next day I made it to the end and I kept on trying to do more and more to the point where I was doing laps and I lost weight. I got in better shape. And then because I was getting in better shape, I felt more confident. And I felt more confident about myself. I mentally felt better. I started interacting more at high school. I started interacting with girls a lot more, which in today's age, I'll talk about that separately. But I had the confidence to start talking to girls and showing interest in girls, and which I think is a healthy thing for a young male to do in a respectful way. And it turned my life around, right? I got involved in fitness, and I started going down a completely different path. Now, if I had just kept gaming, let's say I just kept gaming, let's say I didn't get in shape, let's say I stayed like that would have changed the trajectory of my entire life. Like today, I might not be in this shape that I am now. I might not be doing the things that I do. So it really, I think the video games played a very, very, very big role in that. So that's why my message to people out there is I'm not saying games are bad. I know this is contradicting coming from a gaming channel, but let me just put things into perspective with this channel. Okay. Over the last few years, I've gotten back into gaming, but it's in a very controlled manner, right? I usually won't spend more than 1 hour at a time gaming on the weekend, maybe 2 hours. I only got back into gaming for the Final Fantasy 7 remakes. That's the only reason I bought a PS4 and a PS5 was to play those games. And now, of course, I've tried some other games around it like God of War and Resident Evil remakes, but it was mostly for that. And I set up this channel just because I think I don't want to just. I feel like if I'm just spending hours playing the game, I feel like I'm kind of wasting the time if it's only me seeing it. So it's like, well, if I can stream this easily, which now you can through a PS5, it's like, well, at least I make this time a bit more valuable, right? I get to share my gameplay, and not to boast, I happen to be pretty good at certain games. I've got relatively good attention to detail and reflexes from my early years of gaming, and so I figured I'd just make the most of the current time. So if I'm going to be playing through a game, I may as well stream it, make it a bit more productive. But I just want to say, like, if you're someone like, I would not suggest gaming for 8 hours a day. I don't know how anyone could do that unless you're like doing it as a full-time streamer and you're making some decent income from it. I would advise against it. If you're not streaming it at all, like you should not be gaming that much. You really shouldn't. You need to consider other things if you're spending 8 hours a day playing a game and you're not streaming it. Like I said, I know I don't want to put people off gaming, right? Because technically I'm kind of like a gamer saying this, but like I said, I game 1 to 2 hours, not even every day. I don't stream that often. When I do, I like to create some funny content as well. I'm a bit like I got a weird sense of humor, so I like to make some funny reels out of it. But initially, like I said, I was playing too much, and I got out of it, and I came back into it later. And I got to say, on a different topic, it was really interesting coming back into the game because I stopped gaming once the PS2 came out. So I completely skipped the whole PS2 evolution and PS3 evolution, and I came back into it towards the end of the PS3 and PS4. So, gaming's advanced a lot. So for young kids today, it is so easy to get addicted to it because they're just so engulfing. They're so good. So you got to be mindful of that. Like balance is very important. Like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with gaming like an hour or so here and there. Like just do it in a balanced way. In fact, I think it's quite beneficial. There's some new studies that have come out to show that the brain development in kids who game is actually greater than kids who don't game. But like I said, just don't go overkill with it. It can be addictive. You just got to control it. Don't let it control you. And that's it. I think as long as you've got like other areas of your life that are in check, assuming you're young, if you're studying, make time for study or work, make time to pursue a relationship because that's a healthy thing to do, and put in time to improve your health and your physical fitness because that's very important. If you're healthy, your body's in check, you've got like 100 other problems. But if your body's not in check, you only got one problem, and that's your body. So you got to really look after your body because you only got one. So eat healthy and exercise regularly. I play gaming. It's almost like a form of therapy for me. Like I like to play a little bit at night time. It helps me unwind, and I like sharing it with you all. But I just want to put a message out there for anyone who might be spending a bit too much time on it, just to be mindful of that.